She posted on Instagram, "A queen doesn't need a king." I commented, "All hail." Then I called the bank and removed my name as the guarantor on her business loan. The Queen's castle came crumbling down in a single phone call. 32 male, I'm sitting here with a notification from my bank confirming that I'm no longer a guarantor on a certain business loan. It's been 48 hours since everything went down, and I'm still processing. But let me start from the beginning. Veronica, 29, and I had been together for 4 years. We met at a marketing conference when she was just starting her luxury lifestyle consulting business. Yeah, I know how that sounds now, but back then I was impressed. She had this whole vision, helping wealthy clients curate their lives, from interior design to travel planning to personal shopping. She was charismatic, ambitious, driven. I fell hard. About 2 years into dating, her business was struggling. She had some clients, but cash flow was rough. She needed a business loan to scale up, new office space in a trendy area, hiring assistants, marketing budget. Banks weren't biting. Her credit was shot from failed ventures in her early 20s, red flag I ignored, and her business financials were optimistic at best. That's when she asked me. I was making decent money as a software engineer, had good credit, owned my condo. Would I co-sign? No, wait. Actually, the bank said it would be better if I was a guarantor instead, supposedly less complicated for her business structure. She swore it was just a formality. The business was about to explode. She just needed this boost. Like an idiot in love, I signed. $85,000 business loan. As guarantor, I wasn't a co-borrower, but I was on the hook if she defaulted. She made payments for a while. Sort of. Late sometimes, minimum payments, but the bank wasn't calling me, so I figured it was handled. Fast forward to this past Monday. I'm having lunch, scrolling through Instagram. There it is. Veronica, champagne glass in hand, some rooftop bar, professional photo shoot vibes. The caption, "Sometimes a queen realizes she's been playing in someone else's kingdom. Time to build my own empire. A queen doesn't need a king." New chapter, self-love, boss babe, know your worth. The comments were already flooding in. Her friends hyping her up. "Yes, queen! Finally! You deserve so much better, babe." My stomach dropped. We'd had brunch together literally yesterday, made plans for next weekend. Everything seemed normal, and she's announcing our breakup on Instagram before even telling me? I sat there for a minute, genuinely stunned. Then petty mode activated. I commented, "All hail." Started getting texts from mutual friends within minutes. "Dude, what happened? You okay?" Meanwhile, radio silence from Veronica. That's when it clicked. The guarantor thing. If she's done with me, if this is how she wants to play it. Called my bank, 20-minute hold, finally got through to commercial lending, explained I needed to discuss a guarantee I'd signed. They transferred me around, but eventually I got someone who pulled up the loan. "Sir, as a guarantor, you can't just remove yourself unilaterally. That would require the borrower to refinance or find another guarantor." "I understand. What's the current status of the loan?" Typing sounds. Long pause. "Well, it's showing as irregular. 3 months behind on payments. We've been sending notices to the primary borrower. 3 months behind. So what happens if I formally notify you that my personal relationship with the borrower has ended and I'm concerned about the loan status?" Another pause. "We would likely initiate a review. If the loan is already in distress and the guarantor expresses concerns, we might accelerate collection procedures. Please initiate that review." Documented everything. The Instagram post, screenshot with timestamp, the bank call, reference number, the payment history they shared. Then I texted Veronica, "Saw your Instagram. Message received. FYI, I've notified the bank about our change in status. Good luck with your empire." Then I muted her messages and calls. Didn't block, wanted the evidence trail. The explosion started about 2 hours later. Update 1, holy crap, you guys. The entitlement is off the charts. So after my text, Veronica tried calling about 47 times that first day. I didn't answer. The voicemails progressed from, "Babe, we need to talk. This is all a misunderstanding. You're being really immature. Call me back now." Complete screaming meltdown. Tuesday morning, she showed up at my condo building. Fortunately, I'd already given the front desk a heads up that we'd separated and she shouldn't be let up. She made quite a scene apparently. Security had to escort her out. But here's where it gets good. Wednesday, I get a call from her business lawyer, Marcus. This dude. The audacity. My client is concerned about some actions you've taken regarding her business loan. Me, your client announced our relationship was over on social media. I simply informed the bank of our changed status. That was a personal expression of growth. It didn't mean. It literally said, a queen doesn't need a king. Regardless, you have no right to sabotage her business. She's prepared to file. File what? I made no false statements to the bank. I'm a guarantor on a loan that's 3 months behind. I have every right to protect my interests. He started blustering about malicious intent and tortious interference until I cut him off. Are you aware she's 3 months behind on payments? Silence. That's temporary cash flow issues. Every business. So you knew? And you're calling me? Interesting. Pretty sure I need my own lawyer now. We're done here? Hung up. But Thursday is when the real fun started. The bank had clearly started their review because Veronica went nuclear. She made another Instagram post. This time, it was a Notes app screenshot, one of those long emotional dumps. I'll spare you the whole thing, but highlights included. I was financially abusive by stopping being her guarantor. I was intimidated by her success. What success? I couldn't handle a strong, independent woman who needed me to guarantee her loan. I was trying to destroy everything she built with whose credit? The best part? She ended with, a real man would support his woman's dreams, not tear them down out of spite. My comment this time. A real queen pays her own bills. Her friends went absolutely rabid in the comments. My phone was blowing up with DMs calling me every name in the book. I just kept screenshotting everything. Then Friday happened. The bank called me. Mr. Name? We've completed our review of the loan you guaranteed. Given the payment history and current status, we're moving to accelerate the full balance. As guarantor, you'd be liable if the primary borrower cannot pay the $73,000 remaining balance. However, we'll first attempt to work with the borrower on resolution. $73,000. She'd barely made a dent in the principal. I asked what their next steps would be. They said they'd already sent formal notice to Veronica demanding full payment or a meeting to discuss options. Refinancing, which she'd never qualify for, payment plan, which she couldn't afford, or surrender of collateral, which was basically nothing. The loan was mostly unsecured except for some equipment. An hour later, my phone rang. Veronica's mom, Diane. Diane, what have you done? Hello to you too, Diane. You vindictive little man, how dare you try to ruin my daughter? Your daughter ruined herself when she stopped paying the loan I guaranteed. She's been putting everything into growing the business. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices. Like sacrificing loan payments while posting champagne photos on Instagram? You're just jealous. She was always too good for you. Apparently the banks agree. That's why she needed my signature. She cursed me out for another minute before I hung up. Saturday morning, 7 a.m., someone's banging on my door. Look through the peephole. It's Veronica with some guy I don't recognize. I don't open it, just called building security. They escort them both out. I get a text from an unknown number. That was her new investor, Bradley. We wanted to discuss buying out your guarantee position. Your loss. She's about to close major deals. You'll regret this. Sure, Jan. Update 2. The audacity keeps escalating, people. I can't even. So after the investor Bradley incident, things went quiet for a few days. I figured Veronica was scrambling to figure out the bank situation. I was partially right, but oh, the lengths she went to. First, I need to explain something I learned from my lawyer. Yes, I got one. As a guarantor, I couldn't just remove myself from the loan like I initially thought. What I actually did was notify the bank of a material change in circumstances that made me concerned about the loan. Because it was already in default, this triggered their review process. The bank could have chosen to do nothing, but given the payment history, they decided to accelerate. Important distinction. Anyway, Veronica tried several approaches over these 3 weeks. Week 1, the guilt campaign. Her friends started reaching out. Not the rabid Instagram defenders, but mutual friends from over the years. The conversations all followed the same script. Hey, how are you holding up? Look, I'm not taking sides, but don't you think you're being a bit harsh? She's really struggling. Maybe you could just give her time? One of them, Jessica, let slip that Veronica was coaching them on what to say. Apparently, there was a group chat where she was strategizing how to get me to see reason. Week 2, the business emergency. This was peak comedy. Veronica suddenly had a massive client deal that would solve everything. She needed just 2 weeks to close it. The bank would get their money, I'd be off the hook, everyone wins. She had Bradley, the investor, call me directly. This man, I don't know where she found him. Bradley, listen bro, I've seen her books. She's sitting on 6 figures of pending contracts. 6 figures of pending contracts, but 3 months behind on a $1,500 monthly payment? Cash flow, bro. It's all about timing. I'm prepared to invest once she closes these deals. Then why doesn't she show these contracts to the bank? It's complicated. Very high-profile clients, NDAs and such. Well, she can work that out with the bank directly. He tried to keep talking, but I hung up. Did some LinkedIn stalking later. Bradley was a serial entrepreneur whose last 3 companies all dissolved within a year. Perfect match for Veronica, honestly. Week 3, the legal threats. Marcus the lawyer was back, this time with a formal letter. They were demanding I, 1, withdraw my false and defamatory statements to the bank. 2, pay damages for business interference. 3, issue a public apology for my harassing Instagram comments. My lawyer laughed, actually laughed. Her response letter was beautiful. No false statements were made. Notifying a bank of legitimate concerns as a guarantor is not interference. 2 Instagram comments on public posts are not harassment. Counter notice that any further baseless threats would result in a harassment claim from me. Then came Thursday. The bank had given Veronica 30 days to resolve the loan. That deadline was approaching. She'd apparently tried everything, applying for other loans, denied, finding a new guarantor, no takers, negotiating a payment plan, couldn't demonstrate ability to pay. So she did what any rational person would do. She threw a party. I'm not kidding. Full-blown farewell to my first office party. Posted all over Instagram. Champagne, catered food, a DJ, in the office space she was about to lose. The posts were incredible. Sometimes you have to close one door to open another. Grateful for the memories in this space as I upgrade to bigger and better. A setback is just a setup for a comeback. Her friends ate it up. So inspirational. Your strength is amazing. Can't wait to see your next chapter. I couldn't resist. Commented on the party pic, champagne taste on a defaulted loan budget. This time, Veronica responded publicly, still obsessed I see. Some of us are too busy building empires to worry about bitter exes. Security is coming to remove you if you show up. Have boundaries. Moving on. Security? At her going out of business party? I screenshotted that gem for my lawyer. But the real kicker came that night. Got a text from an unknown number. This is Diane. My daughter is in tears. That party was meant to be a positive goodbye, and you ruined it with your comment. She's been hospitalized for stress. I hope you're happy. We're suing you for emotional distress and the medical bills. Hospitalized for stress because of an Instagram comment on her own post about a party she threw while defaulting on a loan. You can't make this stuff up. Final update. Alright, last update because this saga is finally over and honestly, I'm exhausted from even thinking about it. So after the stress hospitalization, which was apparently just a panic attack at urgent care, not an actual admission, things ramped up to extinction level entitlement. The last-ditch effort. 4 days before the bank's final deadline, Veronica made one more play. She showed up at my office, not inside, security wouldn't let her in, but she waited by my car in the parking garage. I saw her from a distance and almost turned around, but I figured I'd see what fresh insanity she had planned. I kept my phone recording in my pocket. Veronica, we need to talk like adults. We're talking. I found a solution. I just need you to sign one document. She pulled out papers. It was a personal loan application, with me as the primary borrower. She wanted me to take out a $75,000 personal loan, give her the money to pay off the business loan, and then she'd pay me back within 6 months. Me, are you seriously asking me to take out a loan to pay off the loan you defaulted on? It's not like that. This gives us both time. Your credit won't be affected, and I can focus on my business without the bank breathing down my neck. No. You owe me this. 4 years together, I supported your career. You lived rent-free in my condo while building a business that apparently never made money. That's when she snapped, full screaming meltdown in the parking garage. You're trying to destroy me. You never believed in me. You're intimidated by successful women. Security showed up. I left while they were dealing with her. Found out later she was banned from the property. The end of the empire. The deadline came. Veronica couldn't pay. The bank moved to collect from me as guarantor. Here's the thing though. I'd been preparing for this. My lawyer had advised me that as guarantor, I'd have the right to pursue Veronica for any amount I had to pay. So I let the bank know I was prepared to pay, but would be immediately filing against Veronica for the full amount plus legal fees. Suddenly, Veronica's massive deals materialized into settlement negotiations. The bank agreed to a deed in lieu arrangement where she surrendered all business assets worth maybe $15,000, some furniture, computers, equipment, and signed a payment plan for the remaining balance. I had to pay $45,000 as guarantor, but I got a judgment against Veronica for that amount, plus my legal fees. Her Instagram went dark for about a week. When she came back, it was with a whole new persona. Wellness coach now. Posts about rising from the ashes and finding peace in simplicity. She'd moved back in with her parents. The aftermath was crazy. You'd think it would end there. Nope. Bradley, the investor, started his own Instagram campaign about how I was a dream killer who couldn't handle feminine power. He had maybe 200 followers and his posts got like 12 likes each, but he was committed. Daily posts about toxic masculinity and supporting women entrepreneurs. Someone sent me screenshots of him trying to start a GoFundMe for Veronica's business revival. It raised $47. Diane, Veronica's mom, sent me a formal demand for the medical bills from the stress hospitalization. My lawyer responded with a copy of the judgment against Veronica and a reminder that harassment has legal consequences. Haven't heard from her since. Best part? About 2 weeks ago, I get a DM from Jessica, one of Veronica's friends who'd tried to guilt me. She wanted to know if I'd be interested in coffee because she'd always thought we had a connection, and now that I was available, I didn't even respond. The audacity is apparently contagious in that friend group. Where things stand. I'm out $45, which hurts. But I've got a judgment against Veronica, and my lawyer says we can garnish wages once she's employed. Given her new wellness coach venture, that might be a while, but the judgment is good for 10 years and renewable. She's still posting inspirational quotes about new beginnings and embracing minimalism, aka being broke. Last week she posted about how material possessions never defined her worth, which is rich coming from someone who used to brag about her designer bags. I've moved on. Learn some expensive lessons. 1. Never guarantee a loan for anyone you're not married to. 2. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. 3. A real queen doesn't need a king or his credit score. The funniest part? That original Instagram post is still up. The one about not needing a king. My all hail comment is still there too, with 847 likes last I checked. Sometimes go back and read the comments for a laugh. Her empire sure came crumbling down fast. I'm done with this chapter. Currently dating someone new who, wait for it, has her own excellent credit score and 0 business loans. Romantic, I know. Thanks for following along on this insane ride. Remember folks, love is grand, but protect your credit. Peace out.